stop for a moment. Take a breath. And understand this truth: your life is not suffering because you don't know what to do. Your life is suffering because you don't do what you already know. Every person in this room, every person listening to this message has a vision of a better life. You know exactly how to reach it. You know the habits that would change your future. You know the actions that would build discipline, strength, confidence, peace. And yet you delay. You negotiate. You convince yourself that tomorrow is a better place to begin. But tomorrow is a lie you keep telling yourself to escape today. The real question is not, what should I do? The real question is, why am I running away from what I already know? And the answer is simple: because the mind loves comfort, because the body fears discomfort, because the path to strength always demands a sacrifice. You know the workout you need. You know the book you must read. You know the toxic habits you must cut. You know the way out, you just don't walk it. Not because you are weak, but because you are undisciplined. Because you allow your feelings to lead your life instead of your decisions. Listen carefully. Discipline is not about doing what you like. Discipline is about doing what is necessary, especially when you don't feel like it. If you continue living by your feelings, you will continue living the same story. But if you start living by your commitments, your entire life will transform. There is a version of you waiting, a stronger one, a wiser one, a more focused one. But that version is not created by thinking, not by wishing, not by planning. It is created by doing. So today is the day you stand up for yourself. Today is the day you stop hiding behind excuses. Today is the day you stop pretending you don't know what the right choice is. You know what to do. The only thing left is to do it. You already know the path. Deep inside, you know exactly what needs to be done to change your life, improve your habits, and rise into the person you want to become. But you've trained yourself to pretend that you don't know. You distract yourself with questions, with overthinking, with unnecessary planning, because admitting that you know the right path forces you to confront the truth that you are avoiding action. You tell yourself you need more clarity, more motivation, more perfect timing, but the reality is simple: you have enough clarity to begin right now. The problem isn't knowledge. It's courage. It's commitment. It's honesty. Every life-changing decision starts with a moment where you stop lying to yourself. Stop saying, "I don't know what to do." Stop acting like the answers are far away. You know that waking up earlier would give you control. You know that exercising daily would strengthen your body and your mind. You know that cutting toxic habits would free your energy. You know that learning something new every day would elevate your future. None of these things are mysteries. None of these things require special talent or a secret formula. They require action, and action requires truth. The reason people pretend not to know is because knowing demands responsibility. If you admit you know the right step, then you also admit you are choosing not to take it. And that creates discomfort. That discomfort forces you to see the gap between who you are and who you could be. But that gap is not your enemy. That gap is your invitation. It is proof that you are not done growing. It is proof that you still have potential to unlock, strength to build, and a life to rise into. There is a moment in every person's life where they realize they've been running from their own wisdom. You are not confused. You are hesitant. You are not lost. You are resisting. You are not weak. You are unpracticed. And the sooner you face this truth, the sooner your life begins to shift. Because the moment you stop acting like you don't know what to do is the moment you become unstoppable. When you stand in front of the mirror and say, "I know what I want, I know what it requires, and I'm done running from it," you reclaim your power. You take responsibility for your path. You stop looking for shortcuts and instead start honoring the work. Knowing what to do is not the challenge. The challenge is doing it consistently, especially on the days you feel tired, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. But even then, the path is clear. The voice inside you may whisper, but it never disappears. It reminds you of what you could become if you stopped hesitating, It reminds you that your life is waiting on the other side of discipline. It reminds you that the door is not locked. You just haven't pushed it open yet. Discipline begins the moment excuses end, and this truth is uncomfortable because it exposes the real battle happening inside you. Most people think their struggles come from a lack of motivation or inspiration, but the real enemy is the endless stream of excuses that protect comfort and avoid challenge. Excuses dress themselves in logic, in timing, in stress, in circumstances, but underneath all of them is fear, fear of change, fear of effort, fear of failing, and even fear of succeeding. It becomes easier to say, "I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready," than to face the responsibility of consistent action. But every time you choose an excuse, you reinforce the version of yourself that settles. Every time you delay, you strengthen the habit of avoidance. And over time, this becomes your identity, a person who always waits, always postpones, always dreams but rarely moves. Discipline demands that you step out of this cycle. It begins with an internal shift where you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" Because feelings will betray you every single time. Feelings want comfort, ease, safety. Discipline wants growth, strength, and transformation. The two will always be in conflict, and the side you feed is the side that wins. When you end excuses, you reclaim your authority over your own life. You stop letting emotions dictate your actions. You stop letting laziness disguise itself as logic. You stop giving your weaker self permission to lead. The truth is, discipline is not born from inspiration, it is born from repetition. When you show up even when you don't feel like it, you teach your mind a new rule. We act because we decide, not because we're comfortable. That single shift can reshape your entire life. Think about the people who are strong, successful, focused, and unstoppable. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on routines, they rely on commitments, they rely on a standard they hold themselves to, no matter what their mood is. They understand that excuses are the fastest way to destroy potential, and discipline is the only way to protect it. When you stop allowing excuses to guide you, something powerful happens. Inside, your confidence grows. Not the fake confidence that comes from hype or positivity, but the deep confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself. Knowing that when you say you will do something, you actually follow through. Knowing that your future is being built by consistent effort instead of empty promises. This kind of confidence cannot be bought, taught, or borrowed. It is earned through disciplined action repeated over time. Every excuse you make today becomes a regret you carry tomorrow. But every time you reject an excuse, no matter how small the action is, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. You become the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person who shows up, the kind of person who does the work even when the work is hard. Discipline is not easy, but neither is the pain of staying the same. And when excuses end, the path becomes clear, not because it gets easier, but because you finally stop standing in your own way. Action creates identity, and every step you take is shaping the person you are becoming. Most people believe identity is fixed, something you discover or uncover, but in reality, identity is built through repetition. What you choose to do consistently becomes the story you tell yourself about who you are. If you take actions rooted in discipline, strength, and purpose, you slowly create the identity of someone disciplined, strong, and purposeful. If you take actions rooted in procrastination, avoidance, and fear, then you reinforce the identity of someone who hesitates and hides. Your actions are constantly casting votes for the type of person you are deciding to be, whether you realize it or not. Every small act you perform is quietly shaping your self-image. When you wake up early even when you don't want to, you tell yourself, "I am someone who does hard things." When you complete a workout on a day you felt weak, you tell yourself, "I am someone who shows up anyway." When you commit to learning something new every day, you tell yourself, "I am someone who invests in my growth." Over time, these repeated messages carve a new identity, one built on proof, not empty belief. That's the power of action. It becomes internal evidence that slowly replaces doubt with certainty. People often wait for confidence before acting, but confidence is the reward of action, not the requirement. You don't become a focused person by thinking about focus. You become focused by choosing focus again and again until it becomes natural. You don't become a disciplined person through motivation. You become disciplined by acting in alignment with your goals until discipline defines you. You don't become courageous by wishing to be brave. You become courageous by facing your fears until courage becomes familiar. The identity you want is on the other side of repeated action. That is the truth most people avoid because repeated action requires patience, effort, and consistency. There is a moment in life when you realize the gap between who you are and who you want to be is not a matter of talent or luck. It is a matter of what you choose to do with your days. Every action is a brick, and every brick builds your future. If your actions today are small but meaningful, your identity will grow stronger. If your actions today are lazy and directionless, your identity will weaken. You are always building. You are always creating. You are always becoming something. The question is whether you are becoming the version of yourself you want to be. Transformation is never a single moment. It is the accumulation of choices, tiny decisions made consistently over time. When you choose to act in alignment with your values, even in the smallest ways, you shift the way you see yourself. That shift affects how you think, how you behave, how you approach challenges, and how you carry yourself through life. It becomes a cycle. Action shapes identity, identity strengthens belief, belief fuels more action. And slowly, the version of you that once felt distant begins to feel natural, familiar, and entirely possible. Starting today, choose one action you've been avoiding and do it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, because the life you want is on the other side of this moment. March forward. Start today. Start now. And don't look back.